everyone, just so we can keep the background noise quiet. And I'll just get right into this. And then just realize you can unmute yourself if you need to ask any questions, okay? What I'm going to go over, let me close my office door. Hold on one sec. Okay, there's a friend of mine that's been in doTERRA about as long as I have, about 8 or 9 years. And she's the one that kind of came up with what I'm going to share with you today. It's called 6 Weeks to Elite. And what she did is she looked back at every person that she's ever signed up, because the reason I'm using this as our example is because she started this and she's done this since day one. So back, 8 or 9 years ago. Everyone that's followed this protocol exactly the way she outlines, she's outlined, they have a successful doTERRA business. People that have deviated from this or have done it halfway or didn't do it at all, their businesses are either not as good or they're no longer in doTERRA. So when I share this with you, I want you to realize there's a lot of ways to build doTERRA, but this is a proven way that we know is effective. And so when I go through it, I want you to know it's been tried and tested over the last 8 or 9 years, and it just has proven to be very, very effective. Okay, so let me pull up the chart and we'll get right into this. In fact, let's see. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we will get rolling. Hold on. Okay, I'm assuming you can see my screen okay. If not, unmute and let me know, but you should be able to see my screen. Okay, what I'm talking about, it's called 6 Weeks to Elite. And just so you know, an elite in doTERRA is someone that has a group that has a volume of 3,000 points, which is roughly around $3,000. So getting to elite means you have a doTERRA business that is doing about $3,000 worth of volume a month in any given month. Every month on the first of the month, it starts over and you start out with 0 volume. So every month is kind of a new month, okay? Now, why is an elite so important? Well, you need, 3 elites to become a silver, and then you need, 12 elites to become a diamond. And so an elite is kind of the foundation building block of all the different ranks in doTERRA. So if you can successfully get somebody from starting brand new to an elite in 6 weeks, you can control your future in doTERRA and hit the ranks you want that will make significant amounts of money for you and members of your team. So first thing, I'm going to go over some of the parameters of just some of the stuff to kind of keep in mind, and then we'll go through things in a little bit more detail. You have to choose your start week. Now, your start week is going to be the time when you have 4 doTERRA classes within the period of about 3 days, okay? That's your start week that you're doing the classes, but there's some prep time before that that's a couple of weeks, okay? You're going to create your list. We ask that everyone that do this try to create a list of a minimum of at least 100 names that they can work with. We're scheduling, as I mentioned, number 3, those 4 jumpstart classes. You've got to be prepared to invite and sample. And then we're going to talk about booking for future classes and then the enroll and support that comes after someone signs up in doTERRA. So this is kind of the basic of what we're going to be talking about. Okay, let me go to the next screen. Okay. The law of diminishing intent means the longer you wait to do something you should do, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. So the whole purpose behind this is nobody will ever be more excited about doTERRA than when they first sign up in doTERRA, typically. That's when they've decided to buy a kit, they've decided to sign up, they realize this is something they probably need to do, whether they love the products, whether they love the business, they're committed to doing this. And so what we're trying to do is capitalize on that enthusiasm and that excitement right from the beginning. Why have 4 classes and why do all this? Well, what happens a lot of times is people aren't properly trained. They don't know how to invite people. They don't give people a chance to sample the oils before the class. And so people come up not really knowing what's going on. Because they haven't invited and followed up and done everything that we're going to talk about today effectively, they may try to get 10 people to their class and 2 people show up. And then because they didn't have an essential oil experience before the class, maybe no one signs up, or maybe one person signs up, and then that person, the chance of them doing another class or doing another event is really, really minimal because their first experience was not as positive as they would have hoped. So that's what we're trying to do, is create an event where a lot of things are happening at the same time. Okay. Another thing is we're trying to keep things in motion. A lot of people don't realize that the success to direct selling, and specifically in doTERRA, is you've got to create momentum. If your team's growing, if your check's growing, if there's things going on, then you create excitement, and there's other people that want to do the same thing. So, okay, step 2, the action step. When you're making your list, okay, I want you to commit to making a list of 100 people. And then what I want you to do is put a star next to your top 25 business prospects, the people that you think may be most excited about the business aspect. And then put a star, a double star, by the people you want to talk to first. Now, we talked about maybe writing down some thoughts about how you're going to approach each person, and then you want to give them a score. Let me see if I can show you something real quick. Hold on. Let's see. 7 characteristics. Hold on just one second. Okay, these are 7 characteristics that that they have found the most successful people in doTERRA have. A lot of them are women. Okay, probably 80 to 85% of the successful people in doTERRA are women. Why? Because women are, nurturers. They love the oils. They're into natural things. They're a lot of times they're the ones taking care of the kids, and so women do an awesome job in doTERRA. We find people between the ages of 30 and 55. They have to be old enough to maybe have a network of people and have a little influence and kind of be in that range. They're number 3, they're into natural things. They have a background, maybe they're into yoga or health, or maybe they go to the gym, or they like to eat healthy, maybe they're vegan. I mean, they're just maybe more inclined to be involved in natural things. Having a money need is really nice. If someone really could use extra money in their family, then that is a characteristic that's very positive. People that are very influential. I mean, it's nice to maybe talk to people that have been successful at other things in their life and have done other things, and people maybe look up to them and value their opinion when they say something. Number 6, being business minded or have done a business before. And number 7 is having a supportive spouse is very important. This. Now, if someone has all 7, that's fantastic. I mean, I've been very successful in doTERRA, and obviously I'm not a woman, you don't have to have all 7. I think people can have like 5, 6, or 7s and do really, really well in doTERRA. But I want you to realize these are the things that people have determined. These are the characteristics that a lot of the successful people in doTERRA have. So going back to our list, let's see. Okay. You want to give them a score from 1 to 7 based on those characteristics. Okay. And so I'll forward that list on to Fadwa, and she can get it to you. So what you're doing is you're ranking them. Okay. And so because we've only got a short amount of time and you're wanting to go through these people, and it's nice to start with the ones that are your hot prospects first. So this is the procedure of making your list. Not only are you making it, you're kind of ranking the people, you're finding out what their score is between 1 and 7, and then you're maybe writing down a thought of how you might approach these different people about doTERRA and about the opportunity. What we found to be very effective, and this is actually what I did when I started doTERRA. I didn't do exactly the thing that my friend did, which I'm presenting now, but my goal when I got in doTERRA was I was trying to find 2 people a day that I could give samples to. Now I worked, I actually had a commute that was 1 hour, and so I left at 7 in the morning, came back at 7 at night, and I still found time to find 2 people a day that I could give samples to. And so this is something that can be done if it's a priority. And what I do is I have a little electronic A to Z guide, and you can have physical copies if you want, but I just have one that I can email them, and I say, listen, I'm going to send you a list. It has 250 common things that you can use essential oils for. I want you to pick 1 or 2 things that your family may be dealing with. I'd love to give you a sample and check it out. I know you're going to love doTERRA's products. It's very simple. You're offering somebody a free sample. I don't really think I've ever had anybody refuse me. They may take it and not use it, but I mean, most people will take your sample. And then what I try to do once I find out if they have headaches or they have neck pain or just whatever it is they're doing, you want to give them a sample of something that they'll notice results rather quickly. Okay, I'm not going to tackle diabetes or heart disease or hypertension or anything that's going to take a little bit of time. I want something skin, pain, headaches, anything where we know they can have a result in a short amount of time. Okay. So that's why I usually have them maybe pick a couple of things, and then I'll give them maybe a sample for the one I think they'll have a result the fastest. And so that kind of gives you an idea of maybe what type of samples you want to be giving people. Okay. After you find out what sample they want, you're sending this thing in the mail, then your job is to deliver the sample or drop it off or mail it to them as quickly as you possibly can. When I'm in situations where I'm doing a lot of sampling, like you're going to be doing in this program, I would be sending out packages every day and dropping off samples on the way back from work, on the way to work, or during lunch, or just whenever you have time, but get these samples in people's hands as quick as you can. And then what you want to do is set a time that you're going to follow up. So if you get somebody a sample and let's say they have headaches all the time, say, well, how often do you usually have headaches? And you say, well, I have headaches almost every day. Say, okay, so will you have a chance to use this probably in the next day or two? Will you make sure you keep this in your purse or in your pocket or wherever? So the next time you have that headache, instead of reaching for the Tylenol or the aspirin or whatever you reach for, I want you to reach for this oil. And then you're going to put, a drop on your temples and on the back of your neck. Is that something you'll commit to do for me? And you want to get a commitment that they're going to actually try the sample. And then you say, great. When can I follow up with you? Like today's Friday, you're probably going to have a headache over the weekend. Can I follow up with you on Monday? And they'll say yes. And then say, okay, what time's the best time? And then get the time that you're going to follow up with them. That's very, very important to always know the next step and what you're trying to do. Okay. So you're delivering the sample. Okay. 2 days after, this is what we talked about. You're following up with people after you drop the sample off. So now you've dropped off the sample. You're going to follow up on Monday. It's important when you follow up, people don't always do what they say they're going to do, as all of us know. And so they may have gotten busy. Something may have come up. It may be a hectic weekend. And so we can't always assume that they've actually done the sample. So this is the phrase that is the best to say. Listen, Sally, have you had a chance to try those oils yet? So we're asking them if they've had a chance to use it. It's a non-threatening way to find out if they've had a chance to do it. Sometimes they have, sometimes they haven't. And they'll come back and say, oh, Daren, I haven't done it. I said, okay, listen, remember, I'm trying to help you out here. So will you commit to do it again? Okay, I'm going to follow up with you again tomorrow. Will you commit to, yes, I'll do it today. And then you have to set up a follow-up time. But your goal is to follow up until they have a positive experience. Now, when you're dropping off the sample, and I'm going to use the headache example, as an example, everyone's body's a little bit different. It's just like, if you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a prescription, they tell you what to take, and then you go and try it, and it's going to work or it's not work, and then they can prescribe something else. Everyone's body reacts to essential oils a little bit differently. And there's several oils that help with headaches and migraines. And so what I tell them when I drop it off is I say, listen, peppermint's been found to be very effective on headaches, but everyone's body's a little bit different. So there's actually several oils that help. We're going to start out with this one first. I think you're going to have a pretty good result, but you have to promise me if for some reason peppermint is not the oil for you, just allow me to bring you another sample, because we will find something that will work. And just let them know, say, listen, and I usually tell this, I said, listen, everyone that's been patient, we're always able to find an oil that will help them with their condition. But you have to be patient. Are you okay with that? You don't say, hey, peppermint works every time and there's no way it won't work, because that's not the truth. And so what you're doing is you're setting up for the opportunity that I'd say 80 to 85%, they're going to have a positive experience. But if for some reason that peppermint doesn't work, then you've opened up the door that you can bring back, frankincense or Intune or lavender or some other oil that may be able to help with that headache. So now you followed up with 2. If they have a great experience, which more than likely they will. This is where we make the invitation to one of those 4 classes that we're setting up that I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes. We're going to give them 4 different options of times they can come. And basically what you're saying, I'm so glad you had an amazing experience. You know, peppermint is actually one of many doTERRA oils that do amazing things for people and for their families. We're actually having a class that's coming up, actually several classes. We have somebody coming in that's an expert from out of town, and then we'll have a little script that you'll use, and then you invite them to come to the class and see which one's for them. And say, listen, this person's coming. I want to make sure we have enough people. There's going to be a free gift for everyone that comes. Is this something you'll do? And then that's where you work to get the commitment from them. And we'll have a script that we'll go through and show you how to get that commitment from them. Okay, then that's how you do all your sampling. You're contacting them. You're telling them, you know, you work with a company called doTERRA. They have these amazing natural products. You want them to try some samples. You're emailing this thing out. You go through this whole thing. You drop off the sample. You follow up till they have a good experience. You invite them to the class. Let's say the classes are like next, you know, Thursday through Saturday. So if you invite somebody to the class today, I mean, that's a week away. So what you want to do is call 2 days before the class to confirm their attendance. And you're not asking them if they're coming. You're just saying, hey, listen, I just wanted to call. I'm so excited you're coming to class in 2 days. You know, that guest is confirmed, and I'm excited for you to get your free gift. You're going to love it. And then that's all you're doing is confirming the fact that they're coming. They've already told you you're coming, so you're not asking them if they're coming again. The last contact you have, and this is really, really important, is 2 hours before the class. You just send them a quick text. I'm excited to see you tonight. You know, I'm excited for that surprise for you or that gift for you or whatever we decide we're going to do that night. We send them a text, and that's it. So, and this is important because a lot happens. A couple days before, people are thinking, what am I going to do? When they agree to it, their mind's kind of locked in. But then all of a sudden, there's chaos that happens every single day that we all know about. And if they don't get a text before, then sometimes it just may completely space their mind because they've had a rough day at work or something. So that's the follow-up process to get people to come to the class. Why do this program? It's very duplicatable. It's an easy system to follow. It's very scalable. People get weekly bonuses from enrollments, and so this is going to give people money right away. When all these people sign up during this launch, they're going to get a pretty large fast start check. And then what we're going to do is also book future growth off of these classes. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. And I apologize. I'm using an older slideshow. I'm actually revamping one, but I'm getting some slides from somebody that I haven't received the slide yet. But the way to book off the classes, and this is something that, once again, you won't have to worry about because I'm the one that's teaching the classes, but there's these really cool keychains that people really love that hold 8 little small bottles of essential oil. And so during the course of the class, what I'm doing is talking about different ways to use essential oils. You can use them aromatically, topically, internally, and I'm doing all these things. And then throughout the course of the class, we're asking questions. And it's like, okay, now I talked about different ways to use essential oils. What's one of the ways you can use them? People raise their hands and they ask them, you can use them topically. And then what I'm doing is I'm giving out these little gifts. And so I say, great, topically. And then I say, here's an oil for you. This is Digestin. It's actually really good for your digestive system, from everything from your mouth all the way through to where you go to the bathroom. It helps with, acid reflux, heartburn, gas, bloating, constipation. So as I'm passing these out, I explain what the oils do, and people see me pulling these oils out of this keychain, and they're getting all these oils, and everyone's pretty excited. You guys, these classes are really fun. They're very educational. People that come to these classes, they love these classes. And when they're in these classes, oftentimes they're thinking, oh, I wish my mom was here. I wish my friend was here. Oh, my friend really needs this. Or, my friend's on some medication. I would love them to find a natural way to deal with that. I mean, people pop into their head. And so at the very end of the class, after we've been giving out all these samples, we basically said, listen, who in here would like it, a chance to get one of these keychains for free? And everyone is excited and they raise their hand. And you say, well, the way we do that, we get these, the way we share doTERRA is by doing these classes and sharing the benefits of essential oils. And so anybody that's willing to host a class, I'm sure there's people that you wish were here that weren't. We could hold a class just for you in a place that's convenient for you. You can show, you can invite your friends, they can show up, they can get the free gifts, and we can do this whole thing again. And by agreeing to host a class, you're going to be able to take this keychain home with you today. And then for every person that comes to your class, I'm going to give you an oil to help fill up that keychain for you. And people are really excited about it. And one of my friends just did a class last night, and there was only 4 people that came to the class, and she booked 2 classes off of just 4 people being there. This is something that works very, very well. And so we're not just going to do all this work and have 4 classes and then it's going to be done. Our goal is to try to book 2 classes off of every class we do. So that if you do these 4 classes within a matter of 3 days, then what you're going to do is you're going to have classes on the calendar and you're going to book people out, and that's where it's going to come. And once again, these are things in the class that you'll see me do during the course of the class. Okay, so you choose your start week. Now your start week is when you're going to start sampling. It's when you can get your list, together. It's when you start calling people and giving out samples and doing all that. Then we set up and we're creating our list, and then we have our 4 classes. This is kind of an example of what maybe your 4 classes might look like, because we can never please everybody. If we have it on Thursday, if you have 1 class a week, like just 1 class to start this off, and you have it on Thursday night, somebody has a dance class, or they have, a youth class, or they have a church group, or something's going on. Sometimes people could come during a lunch break. Sometimes people could come on maybe a weeknight. Sometimes they can come on a weekend night, like Friday. And then most people have the weekends off, and they can, if it's a priority, they can come on Saturday morning. So you're giving lunchtime options, weekday options in the evening, weekend options in the evening, and mornings on Saturdays. Somebody ought to be able to find one of these times that will work for them. Okay. And our goal, like I said, is if we start out with a list of 100 plus names, and this is, like I said, this is about how it's going to work. You'll probably get a hold of maybe 60, 65 of them. You're not going to get a hold of all 100. Out of the 60, 65, you're going to be able to maybe sample 40, 45 people. And then out of the 40, 45 people, you're going to be able to follow up, and maybe people will have a good experience, and you'll be able to get a hold of maybe 30 to 35 people. And our goal is to try to invite maybe 8 to 10 people to come to every class. Our goal is maybe 10 people for class. And then if we invite properly, if we follow up 2 days before, if we send the text 2 hours before, if they've had a positive experience, if we commit them that there's a guest coming from out of town, and I really got to make sure, and you kind of, I won't say guilt them into coming, but you're basically saying, hey, don't say you're coming and not show up. I've got this person coming from out of town, and I don't want to be embarrassed if nobody shows up. Sally, can I count on you coming? Are you going to stand me up, or are you going to come? She says, no, Daren, I promise I'll be there. I'll say, good, I'm going to count on you, because we have a limited amount of spaces and a limited amount of gifts. And if you don't come, that space that somebody else could have come, and that's a gift we could have given to somebody else. So you're kind of letting them feel obligated, and they're agreeing to come. So we're just holding them to what they've already said they're going to do. So our goal is, maybe 40 people are committing to come. Then we get, 8 people that end up coming for class. And I think out of that, we'll probably sign up anywhere from 15, to 25 people, probably 15 to 20 for sure. And so that's kind of how it works. Now, when people sign up in doTERRA, you have 14 days that you can move them around in your organization. Okay. And we won't talk about this a lot on this call. Well, actually we will in a second. So I'll wait till we get there. Okay. Here's the next slide. So this is you at the top. You're starting to build your doTERRA business, and it's just you. You're inviting all these people to do this 6 weeks to elite launch program. Okay. What do these different things mean? Committed, 2 C's means people are committed and capable. 1 C means they're committed or capable, and 3 means they're product users. So what does committed mean? Committed means people do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. So, I mean, these are people that you've talked to, you've done the samples. When you're following up, they're kind of following up the way they're supposed to. When you ask them to come to the class and you follow up and do the things you're supposed to, they actually show up. These are already showing us that these are committed people. Okay. Capable means they have the ability to sign people up in doTERRA without your help. And what you find is when people get excited, and I've done this where I've signed up people and it's like, hey, Daren, I signed up a new person. They just figure out a way to do it. Now we're going to show people how to do it too, but it's not like they need your help getting people excited about doTERRA. That's capable. So committed and capable are the people you want to put on your front line, okay? Those are the people that are going to be your leaders. Those are the people that are going to be your superstars. You put people that are committed or capable on your second line. Maybe people that are really capable, but they don't keep their commitments very well. Or people that keep their commitments well, but they don't maybe have as much influence, and so they're not as good signing people up. But they show up, they do good things, or they have potential, they're just not committed. Those people you put on your second level. If people are just interested in the products, you put those people on your third level. So why is it so exciting to be able to have 15 to 20 people sign up within a 3-day period? Because you can find out within the first week or two what type of people you're dealing with. Because what you're going to do the first week after someone signs up is you're going to have a wellness consultation, which we'll train you guys on a little later. And then you're going to, if they're excited to get their business going, you're going to ask them to start making their list. And then you're going to ask them to set up their loyalty rewards order. And so what you're going to do, first of all, they've been committed coming to the classes. Now you're going to test them out if they say they want to build the business. You're going to give them 3 or 4 things to do in the next 10 days. Those people that do the things you ask them to do and are committed and capable, they're going to be on your front line. Out of those 15 to 20 people, we're probably only going to find a couple of them, okay? The rest are going to be C's, or they're going to be product users. And so what we're going to do is take all these people and we're going to put them underneath your CCs. And they're going to have a team right from the beginning. And these people are going to be so excited because they've come in, they've seen things work, your team's grown, you've put the other C's and product users underneath them because they've shown their commitment level. And this is how we create momentum in doTERRA. Because once again, the same thing works for me. I've signed up 2 people in the last week, okay? One of them I thought they could be CC, but I really wasn't sure. So I kind of counted them as a C. And I signed up another person that was a product user. Who did I put them underneath? I put them underneath one of my leaders. And I can't tell you how excited that makes people feel when you're doing that. And so it's the way I do my business. It's the way I'd suggest you build your business. But when you create this momentum in the first 6 weeks of you launching in doTERRA, and it doesn't matter, you got to understand, people can be in doTERRA 1 year or 6 months or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years and start this launch. It's a matter of picking a date, coming up with a list of 100 names, setting a time for your 4 classes and doing it. So I know some of you have been signed up in doTERRA, but you have never done this type of a launch before. And this is what I recommend doing. Now, what happens? Well, I'm going to teach probably the first class, out of the 4 classes. And then I'm going to have some of you that are the leaders on this call, then you're going to help out with the second class. And then the third class, you're going to give a little bit more. And then by the 4th class, I'm going to do quite a bit less. So my goal is, by you hearing the class done several times, by the time these 4 days are done, you feel like you can do this class yourself, okay? And that's another reason we're going to make it very duplicatable. It's not going to be effective if the only way this works is if I come down and have to do this class. That obviously is not the way to duplicate and build a business. So there's plenty of capable people on this call that if they hear the class once or twice, they can easily, duplicate it and do it themselves. So let's go on here. Sample and invite we talked about. Okay. The 5-touch method. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go through the 5-touch method. So what they're talking about is, with the 5-touch method, is you basically had 5 touches with these people. You've reached out to them. Okay, that's a touch. You've dropped off, you dropped off the sample. That's another touch with them. You followed up to see how the sample worked and invited them to the class. That's another sample. You've done a touch like 2 days before. That's your 4th touch. And then 2 hours before, you're doing. This is the 5-touch method with all 100 people. And so if you do this, where you're following up to sample, you're following up to see if they've tried it, you're following up to see how the experience went, you're following up to invite, you're creating all these different touches with your people, and that leads to more people coming to your classes, and that leads to more success down the road. Okay, we talked about booking future classes from classes. Our goal is to try to book 2 classes from every class we do, and then enroll in support. We support with several things. The loyalty rewards program, we're going to explain to people after they've signed up. This is a way that they can earn free product from doTERRA by placing their order every month. So we're going to talk about this when we have a wellness consultation with them. What's a wellness consultation? So I talked about the 2 people I signed up last week. Well, I have a wellness consultation today. Let me see what time it is so I can tell you exactly what time. So mine is it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock Utah time, which is 3 o'clock Wisconsin time, which is the person I signed up. It's a lady named Amber. She's a massage therapist from Wisconsin. What am I going to go through with the wellness consultation? Well, what I do is I find out all the things that's going on in her family with her spouses, children, everything that's going on, trouble sleeping, joint pain, back pain, anybody have any acne? I mean, whatever. And you can usually find, 5 to 10 things pretty easily. This is what the purpose of the wellness consultation is. And then what you're doing is you're going through and showing different products that can help those. And what you're doing is you're kind of coming up with a shopping list. And then what I do is I go through and I really quickly let them know, hey, listen, people that sign up in doTERRA usually fall into one of 3 different categories. And I'm going to do this very quickly for the sake of time. But I say, the first category, and this represents 80 to 85% of all the people in doTERRA, are just product users. They love the product. It's a natural way to deal with things their family faces. And so they find a product that helps them sleep or helps with skin or helps with a variety of things. And they learn more about that product. They use it. They find out about other products. They get free products from doTERRA, and they just are product users. And that's what makes doTERRA so strong and such a high retention rate, is because most of our customers are people that really have no desire to make money in doTERRA. They just love the product. Okay, the second category is people that decide to share, either to share to get free product from doTERRA, or to share to maybe make a couple $100s and get their order paid for, or to pay their car payment or whatever, or they could share enough to make a couple $1,000s a month. And these are people that share on a part-time basis and will benefit through free products or extra money that they get from doTERRA. The third category is the one that I'm into. I realized when I was introduced to these products, I had an amazing experience where I took them on a family vacation and they worked. And I actually tell my story when I have more time and tell them exactly my experience with the oils. And I said, I realized after having this experience with my family on this vacation, if these products worked for me, they'd work for others the same way. And this could be a really, really big business all over the world. And so that third category is people that actually want to replace their income and have doTERRA be a major income source in their life for them and their family. So you have product users, people that want to share on a casual or maybe a more than casual basis, and then people that want to replace their income. Sally, I know you're brand new in doTERRA. I know this is all new to you, but as I initially explained those 3 examples to you, which category would you think you fall into? And that tells me what I need to do. If they say, well, Daren, I think I'm just going to start out as a customer. I just really want to get feel for the product first. I said, fantastic. Then let's make sure doTERRA has this loyalty rewards program where if you order at least 50 points a month, you can get these free points from doTERRA. And I explained the loyalty rewards program. And so they've told me that they want to be a customer. And so now I'm committing them to at least do 50 points a month. Okay. What if they say, Daren, I think I'd like to do that second category, where I'd like to share and stuff like that. Then I say, great. Then we want to make sure you have an order of at least 100 points, because that'll allow you have to have at least 100 points with doTERRA to be able to earn commission and make money with doTERRA. So then you go through the list of all the things they've picked. And then there's, like I said, there's maybe 10 things on the list. And then you start picking the top priority. And once you get 3 or 4 items and we're past 100 points, then you stop. Say, great. Hey, we're past 100 points. We're good enough for the month. We'll save the rest for next month. If they say the third category, Daren, if I could do exactly what you do and make the kind of money you make, I would love to replace my thing. I'm not really, I don't really love my job, or, it's not heading the way I want, or just whatever the reason they have. Then you say, that's fantastic. Well, let's make sure we set up your order with at least 100 points. And then what I want to do is set up a time to do a business consultation to show you more about the business. And that's how you do it. So we support them through teaching them about the loyalty rewards program during that wellness consultation the week after they sign up and get their kit in doTERRA. We're also in that wellness consultation going through the oils in the kit they purchased and kind of showing them different things they can use those oils for as well. And then the last thing is continuing education. And this is something that's being initiated on our team and other teams. It's an 8-week continuing education course where you cover major topics in doTERRA. It could be inflammation. It could be women's hormones. It could be all sorts of things. Excuse me one second, you guys. I've just got, this is a call I've got. Hold on one sec. Hello? Yes. Hey, are we still good at 11? Yeah. Okay, I'm on a call. I'll call you in just a few minutes. Okay. Bye-bye. Sorry, you guys. That's a lunch appointment I have with somebody in 22 minutes. I just wanted to make sure. And we're just a couple minutes away from wrapping up. So we're going to support them with loyalty rewards, wellness consultations, and continuing education so they can learn more about the products in doTERRA and what they're doing. I think this is our last slide. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and so I can see everyone again. Okay, and I know you guys aren't showing your faces, so that's fine. Okay, there we go, Matt. We need somebody better looking than me. I'm scaring everyone. You guys, this is an amazing way to get your doTERRA business started. If you're going to do doTERRA, like I said, you can do it the effective way or the ineffective way. And as long as you're making your list and you're contacting people, if you can create this momentum to where we get these classes filled up, we go through your list. Like I said, we start out with 100. We get a hold of 65. We sample maybe 45, and then we invite maybe 30 to 35. And we're trying to get 10 per class, 8 show up. We sign up 15 to 20. I mean, we're off to the races. We're booking classes off of classes. Your team's excited. We take the committed and capable people. All the extra people are on their team. We can't lose. Any questions about anything I've talked about? You can go down in the bottom left and unmute yourself if you have a question.
I don't have a question, Daren, but I do want to tell Matt and Nisa, and I know Brenda, she has a team call, so she just said, I'm sorry, she's working, so she couldn't make it. But I know Matt may remember this, that you have actually offered to come and help us with the classes. And I honestly, Matt, think this is amazing. That's one thing I really like about Daren. He's a very good trainer. I mean, he really is. He knows his stuff and he knows how to train well. So I think it's exciting to be able to have that opportunity.
Nope. And I will make sure, like I said, as we're going through this process, if you follow the steps, people will show up to your class. If you don't do it, then you won't have as many people and it won't be as effective. So, so what I'd like you to do, and I apologize, when we changed this from yesterday to today, I already had some things booked. And so my schedule's a little tighter. And I've got to leave here for a lunch appointment that's about 15 minutes away. But Matt, if you want to follow up, first of all, I want to find out who's on board. And then we can talk about when our potential launch dates are. Once again, you're going to need about probably 2 or 3 weeks before we have those 4 classes. And so what you're doing right now, and I would start today, is start making that list. But then we figure out, okay, we're going to launch. And so figure out 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks to launch. Okay. Then at the end of the 2 weeks is when we have those 4 classes. And then what we're doing is we're booking classes off of classes. And so we have those initial 4 classes, and then over the course of the next 3 weeks, we're going to have probably another 6 classes. So it's a combination of the 2 weeks to prepare, the week for the classes, and then the 3 weeks after where we're doing our classes off the classes, and that's how a person becomes elite in 6 weeks. So the 6 weeks is from the prep time all the way through the classes off of classes that you've done. And then my goal is to help, like I said, have you guys feel comfortable with the class while I'm teaching there, and then your team and your leaders will take over and do those follow-up classes as they go. Okay,
I like
guys.
it. All right, man.
What was that?
I said I like it.
You guys, it really works well. It's going to give you an awesome start. And rather than dragging it out, we just get in and get it done. And this is the best way to do it. So if you guys want to coordinate when your launch times, and lets me know, because my schedule is a little crazy. So I want to make sure have 2 potential launch times. And then, so I want to make sure it fits, because I'm going to be actually out of the States on 1 or 2 times in November. So Fadwa, I'll leave it up to you, but thanks for being on, everyone. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, Darren, thank you.
Thanks,
And we'll
Darren.
You
coordinate.
guys.
It's
Bye-bye.
next Friday at the same time works for everyone if we decide to do this on Friday instead of Thursday? Will that work for you, Darren?
Yeah, Friday would be better for me.
And Darren, will that work for you?
Let's see,
Friday's-
next
I know you
Friday.
gotta run. If not, look and then text me
Yeah,
if you
just
want.
look, let us know.
No, that'll work.
Okay. And then
okay.
hopefully, Nisa, does that work with you? Next
Yes.
Friday? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'll plan
Hopefully,
on next Friday, November 1st at 10 o'clock Utah time. Thanks, you
Yes.
guys. Bye-bye.
Thank
thanks,
you.
Darren. Bye.